Have you ever been blindsided by someone who thinks they can crush you with a single sentence? That's exactly what happened when Karen Miller, our HOA president and office tyrant, stormed into my workplace, heels clicking like a countdown to chaos, and declared me fired in front of my clients. The lobby fell silent, every eye on me. But what Karen didn't know was that I'd already outmaneuvered her. I wasn't just a financial advisor, I was the new owner of the building she thought she ruled. How did a petty power grab lead to her arrest, a courtroom defeat, and the end of her reign? Stick around, this story of workplace drama and sweet revenge will keep you glued to the end. 6 weeks ago, I was just another financial advisor, helping clients plan retirements in a modest office at Oakwood Professional Center. The work was fulfilling, the pay steady, but the catch, Karen Miller. She wasn't just the HOA president in our neighborhood, where she fined people for wrong flowers or unapproved mailboxes. She also managed our office building, wielding her power like a dictator. Thermostat set to 68 degrees, mandatory, park in the wrong spot, written up, question her, expecting HOA violation taped to your door. I'd seen colleagues quit to escape her good people driven out by her petty roles and surveillance. Cameras pointed at our desks, but I stayed because Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." I was about to prove him right. 2 months ago, my life changed. My uncle passed, leaving me an inheritance that could rewrite my future. I didn't splurge on a yacht or a sports car, I invested. When I learned Oakwood Professional Center was for sale, it felt like fate. I formed a holding company, Smith Properties, to keep my bid anonymous and made an offer the sellers accepted. And the deal closed last week. I told no one, showing up to work as usual, dodging Karen's daily etiquette reminders and her latest HOA cruelty. A $500 fine that left Mrs. Peterson, a 70-year-old widow next door, in tears over her marigolds. That's when I knew Karen had to be stopped. Last week, she cornered me in the break room, jabbing her finger over clients using the front entrance. "This isn't a low-rent operation," she sneered. "Maybe if you had professionalism, you wouldn't be stuck in that tiny office." I smiled, knowing I'd signed the building's final papers that morning. By 9 a.m. that day, I owned Oakwood Professional Center. Then came her grand entrance, bursting through the lobby doors, her designer heels echoing like a war drum. "You're fired, effective immediately," she declared, her voice bouncing off the marble walls. My client squirmed, the coffee vendor froze, but I stayed calm. "I think there's a misunderstanding, Karen," I said, meeting her smug smirk. With a steady gaze, she stepped closer, her voice venomous. "You thought you could stay here with your pathetic performance. Get out before I call security." I gathered my files and addressed my clients. "Sorry for the disturbance. Shall we reschedule for tomorrow?" They nodded, confused, as Karen gloated. "I've waited months for this," she hissed. "People like you are placeholders. People like me step over you." I didn't flinch. "You might be surprised, Karen." Then I made a call, loud enough for her to hear. "James, the building's officially mine as of this morning. Prepare management notices for tomorrow." Her jaw dropped, her triumph frozen. The next morning, I arrived with my property management team, led by David Williams. We posted notices. Smith Properties is now the owner of Oakwood Professional Center. Direct inquiries to David Williams, building manager. At 9 a.m., I watched from the surveillance room as Karen swiped her access card. Red light. She tried again, locked out. She pounded the glass, furious. David explained the ownership change, but she stormed to her office only to find the locks changed. Employees gathered, sensing drama. "Where's that little nobody playing games with me?" she shouted. I stepped off the elevator. "Good morning, Karen." David explained the change. "I believe." Her laugh was brittle, panicked. "You bought this building. You drive a 10-year-old Honda." "I live below my means," I replied. "Smith Properties is my company. The transfer was official yesterday, an hour before you tried to fire me." Her face went white. "This is a joke. I've run this building for 7 years. I'll sue for wrongful termination." I handed her my lawyer's card. "We've documented your management practices, staff complaints, security footage. Your position is terminated. Vacate the premises." She unraveled, screaming, knocking over chairs, hurling a potted plant that nearly hit an elderly client, and shoving a receptionist's computer off the desk. "This is my building," she shrieked. When she slapped a security guard trying to escort her out, David called the police. officers arrived. But Karen barricaded herself behind the desk, yelling threats. When she shoved past them toward me, they restrained and handcuffed her, charging her with destruction of property, disorderly conduct, assault, and trespassing. Research into workplace harassment laws confirmed Karen's actions arbitrary write-ups. Targeted fines violated employee protections. HOA governance rules also limit board authority. Her neighborhood fines, like Mrs. Peterson's, often breach fairness clauses. At her court hearing, the judge, unmoved by her excuses, sentenced her to 100 hours of community service, $7,000 in damages, and a restraining order barring her from the building or contacting employees. The whole board, spurred by viral footage of her meltdown, voted unanimously to remove her as president. Neighbors shared stories, Karen's fines for unapproved paint colors, her threats to tow a veteran's car. When the board delivered the news, she sat speechless, her power gone. Now, I work in peace, my office a haven, my neighborhood free of petty violations. Karen's reign ended not with a fight, but with her own arrogance crumbling under the weight of justice. If you love seeing bullies brought down by their own schemes, smash that like button. And if you're hooked on stories where the underdog flips the script, subscribe. You won't believe what's next.